This model review is of the Tamiya 148 scale, the Brewster Buffalo. It's the F2A, and it's a nice little picture. There's a hole in the box here. Shows you the painting guide there, and some of the other models they make. Let's have a look inside. This is an older model that I bought online. Let's open this up and have a look. Looks like some parts have already come off the sprue. Here's our clear plastic part. Looks like we have two options here for the clear plastic. These are very well molded. Here's the wing surface, and this has some recessed panel lines, some surface detail. The ailerons seem to be well molded. And looking at the front here, the top of the wings also very well molded. Looks like we've got some nice detail here in the front part of the wing. We'll have a look at that. Here's our figure, and it's got some nice detail on there. We have a few rivet lines on this piece here. Here's our fuselage. This is a short, stubby little plane. We have our engine cowl. Here's our seat, two different options. Looks like we have a propeller and engine. There's a fair amount of flashing and mold lines on this engine, which is kind of disappointing for Tamiya. This is an older model, and as you can see here, made in 1974. And this must be our instrument panel. And you can see here's our here is the other sprue. We have our wheels here with some mold lines, unfortunately. And here's our stabilizer with the elevators. These are very nicely made, actually. Here's our spinner for the propeller, landing gear. This looks like it's the crankcase for our engine, propeller. Here's the other side of the fuselage, and for some reason we have a guy here that's wedged in between. This is our pilot, and appears to be stuck. There you go. We have some little bumps, but there's some fair amount of detail actually here on the inside of the cockpit, and again on the other side of the cockpit. Let's have a look at our instructions. So first of all, we're going to put together the cockpit, put together the fuselage, then decals go on the instrument panel. Then we're going to put together the wings, the landing gear. There's also the clear glass underneath, and wings go on the fuselage, stabilizer goes on, engine, cowling, propeller assembly, and canopy, and then the figures. This is the completed model. This is the different options. Here are the different options for painting, and so we have the Dutch East India's Army. It's from 1941. This is the RAF from Singapore, 1941. And then this is the US Navy. Okay, let's have a look at our decals. Here are the decals and this is an older model, so they are a little yellow, but otherwise fairly well printed. And lastly, they have a painting guide here for the two different versions, and then different decals depending on which of the British versions you picked. Here's the Navy one, the US Navy. So there's actually a surprising level of detail, but also some mold lines.